boy, just be yourself. If people don't like you if you're being yourself, fuck them.
Big Los,
Hollywood Kev,
and welcome to another episode of The Noize on iHeartRadio. If you haven't yet, go ahead and follow The Noize on the Big Three at The Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, of course, go to BeatNetworkOnline.com. Check out all your favorite Beat Network shows. Follow us on all the social media pages. All the links is up there. I'm so happy that we got that short. Kev, what's going on with you, bro?
nothing much, man. Same old, staying out the way.
Man, I wish I could stay out the way. I'd rather stay out the way.
It's a lovely life. When you
It's
stay
an
out the
easier
way.
lifestyle to live.
Yes, definitely.
Now, we normally, try to ramble on a little bit, but we have a special guest in the building. At this point, family, this is your third time
It's
in the
my
Beat
third
Network
time.
studio. I like to consider her Sin City's Angela Rye. So we're
Ooh,
going to start calling you
okay.
Cousin
That
Oak.
makes sense.
It all comes together, right?
Okay, Angela Wright, that's a big title.
Very, very much so. But as we're going to discuss here, I would say you definitely live up to it.
Okay.
So welcome to The Noize. Welcome back to The Noize. Cousin Oak, a.k.a. Naoka Foreman. What's
Cousin
going on
Oak,
with you?
I like that. I'm good. I'm trying to recover from moving, so I probably need a glass of red wine.
Exactly.
real
You need
soon.
something hard, some strong.
Yeah.
That's the only way to really go about it. Either that or what? Gatorade?
Probably.
Gatorade?
Nah, I'd rather
Nah.
just go for some brown.
Yeah,
That's just
brown
me.
for sure.
See, exactly. Boom. That's why she's awesome. So you're here to, we're going to just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
See that you're here to promote your pop-up gallery, correct?
Yes, pop-up gallery.
Now, just give the people some feedback about the majority and what the gallery is going to be about. Then we're going to get right into your business.
Okay. The majority is a newsletter series right now. I have different phases for the majority. And the idea behind it is to tie mainstream stories to everyday marginalized, disenfranchised people of the world, but mainly concentrating on America first. The pop-up gallery is going to be like an art gallery. So
Okay.
I'll have each of my issues printed out on poster boards and framed for guests to look at. I have a specialized menu with Luke Belair. That's our sponsor for the event.
Okay.
The menu is it's really fly. It's really neat. So I have some cool names that kind of tie into the whole concept. I have some guest DJs. It's going to be a really sophisticated type of event, more so like a art gallery though. The popping.
So the Sophista Ratchet, basically, is what
Yes.
we're going for.
Exactly.
That's a solid rollout.
Yeah. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's going to be really slick.
Now, I did get the opportunity to read 4 out of the 5
Okay.
that you did, because I saw you just released the
I
new
just
one
dropped
today,
that
correct?
one. By the skin on my teeth, child.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to see it. I saw it was Bruno Mars.
It's Bruno Mars.
And then they said cultural appropriation. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
I don't want to disagree with you on your show, but I kind of feel like from the conversations I've had with you, I feel like you probably are dropping some legit gems in there. So I really can't
Yeah.
wait to get to that one. Before we do get to the actual newsletter itself,
Yeah.
what inspired the newsletter? What
newsletter?
made you say this is something I want to do? I want to get these words out.
Arguing with people on Facebook.
Ah.
Arguing with people on Facebook. Arguing with people on Instagram.
Gotta do it.
Like
So we got
for
the
about
podcast.
5 years, I would just always talk about social issues. And people would fly right on in to my comments and argue with me. And I'm like, I kind of really know what I'm talking about. Right? But people were not feeling me. And then I dropped an analysis on Lemonade. And that did really well. A lot of people received it well. And that was about 2 years ago. And that's when I kind of was like, you know what? I should start dropping something monthly. But I wasn't taking myself seriously. Then I lost my job in October. And I just got a little bit more creative and a little bit more, I don't know, I guess in tune with what my passion is. So I just came up with the concept. The Meek Mill had just got rearrested. And I was like, I guess I can exploit that story. And it worked really well as the first issue of the majority.
That
really
it did. That it did. It was an amazing read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I mean, I was feeling it. You know?
Right.
So 5 issues. I guess we could start from where you got to start with Meek Mill. So tell the ear hustlers and your live feed.
Okay.
You know, a little more about the Meek Mill article.
Okay. Well, when Meek Mill was rearrested, a lot of people were upset by that because the judge was harsh in her sentencing.
Right.
So I wanted people to know that happens all the time. That doesn't just happen to Meek Mill. So the concept behind that issue is showing how being on probation turns a small citation into a jail sentence or a prison sentence. So that was
for specific people.
Yeah, for specific people, right?
The darker.
Exactly. and in that issue, I didn't want to be so pro-black and just highlight blackness because I wanted to kind of include a lot of people. I didn't want to exclude anyone. But I did let people know, like, it's disproportionately a black issue. So let's be clear. But I wanted the Meek to be like, I wanted people to think like, damn, he's really in jail for popping a willy. Like, he's really in jail. Like, he got sentenced, 3 years?
Yeah,
Was it 3
it
years?
was 3 years, right?
Yeah.
For popping a willy. Like, he's not in jail because of what he really committed 10 years ago.
Right.
Not even, was it 10 years ago?
Shit, I think he had braids when it
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, braids.
Braids and a really bad BET movie.
Right.
when it all went down.
He was 18. He didn't have the representation that he could have now. So he's still entangled in the justice system. And I wanted people to think, like, you know, is probation really you being free, or is it a way to keep you in chains?
I like how you called it the leash. What?
The leash.
Yeah. What inspired you to call it that instead of chains or anything else?
Because they have you around the neck, right?
Yeah.
By the neck, right? You're stressed, you're tense. Every encounter with the police is going to be hostile, like a dog that you need to hold back, right? So to me, it's a leash. You're not really free. You're still attached to this justice system. So is probation really freedom? No.
No.
Oh yeah, definitely not. First thing I thought about was like when the little badass children are running around with
In
little
the mall.
backpack leashes and they just snap back. You know what I'm saying?
Or that.
So I mean, that's the first thing that came to mind. Now with the Meek Mill one, I remember when I read it, and I was just like, you know, I thought you were dropping gems. And one thing I really like about your writing is exactly how you put it. You didn't want to make it super pro-black, but you wanted people to understand what the numbers are. So it's like you're very fair. You're not.
Yeah.
You're far from PC, but you're fair, and you try to make sure everyone's represented. You try to make sure you know all stories are told, and make sure everyone looks at literally both sides.
Exactly.
When I was looking into the Meek Mill one, I just had to think. I'm like, which white artist is out there that's constantly doing some fuck shit?
Right.
And of course,
so you found some juice.
I had to go in.
Okay.
We had, you know, Cousin Oak was coming through. You know, we had to show out one time. But I looked into Justin Bieber, and
Yeah, you messaged me too.
no, we had a legit conversation about it. Because I mean, when you see somebody on they pro-black shit and they actually talking good about the culture and trying to actually build us up, I'm like, yeah, God damn it, I want to be on the boat.
Fucking right.
It's a dope boat. But I looked into Bieber, and I can't remember what he was on probation for. But
I can't either. And that tells you there, right?
right, exactly. You can go
No one's
into
blowing
it.
up that story about
Nobody.
Justin because no one cares he's white.
And then you look at Meek Mill going to jail for popping a wheelie because of what they said was like reckless driving or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
even though that's just part of the culture. Like,
Exactly. And no one was on the road. No one got hurt. No one was in immediate danger.
Right.
But it was with that. I'm
I
like,
want to
okay.
know who else got cited that was popping
That day.
willies.
Right.
Yeah.
And what kind of time they doing
Oh no,
right
did the
now.
police catch them popping these willies, or was it like somebody snitching?
Right.
Yo,
It had
Meek
to be a
Mill
snitch.
out here popping willies.
It had to be a snitch with the
Right.
solid Snapchat. It had to be.
Well, they did say that the judge kept in contact with him because she wanted him to shout her out in some of his music. So
Oh,
you
yeah, I heard
never
multiple
know.
stories with that one. And they said they wanted him to make a specific love song or whatever for her birthday or something like that.
Yeah,
Who
she
does she
wild.
think she is?
The judge. That's why he got 3 years now. But when I was looking into the Justin Bieber case and looking how crazy 3 years behind popping the Willie was, I'm like, all right. So in 2014, one night, Justin Bieber had 6 noise violations from 4 different people in 7 hours before the police finally addressed it. Apparently, a noise violation is just like reckless driving.
Oh wow.
That's something that you
just get cited
ticketed.
for.
Exactly, you get cited for. But when you're on probation, that's a direct violation. Nothing happened to Justin. They didn't even come check on it in the 7 hours. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same year, he avoided a he avoided any prison time when he swung. No, that was 2016. 2014, he tried to run over.
So he just doing a whole bunch
Oh,
of
yeah,
stuff.
he getting it popping. He tried to run over one of the paparazzi dudes.
Wow.
And they were trying to hit him with with attempted assault as well as reckless driving. Mm-hmm. He got off, quote unquote, because he was on his way to his probation hearing. And they didn't lay down the law just yet of what he has to do to adhere to his probation.
Okay, so his lawyer kind of slick. Okay.
His lawyer's nice. 2016, we have video of this man taking a swing at the paparazzi. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
And the story's not even blown up.
Exactly.
Nah.
I had to go look for this.
Yeah, because I don't remember any of that.
And it's crazy because it's bringing it back to Meek Mill. And it's hard to not make it a black and white thing when we see so many examples of prominent black people actually doing something, actually taking what prison is supposed to be for and reform and do better. Right. And now all of a sudden, you popped a willie? Oh, no, I need 3 years up out of you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Justin Bieber out here punching niggas.
Well, we don't make it a black or white issue. They do.
They do, of course.
Yeah, that's them.
That's their whole run. But, just reading your newsletter about it and then looking into the Justin Bieber thing, like it's obvious. Yeah. And it's written, it's right there in your face. Mm-hmm. The fact that y'all didn't even know about those three things, it speaks volumes. But we knew every time Meek Mill got locked back up.
Every single time.
It was a big story.
Every time. All over the place.
Well, that's how they do black men.
Right, of course. We look better on camera, I'm assuming. It's the only thing I come up with.
He's so silly.
Well, nah, you look at some of them cats be having them face tats, be like a whole ass skeleton on their shit.
Scary.
I'm like, you know what? You might want to be locked up. Like, no one should be saying free whoever the fuck you are anytime soon.
Oh, that's not cool.
Damn that. Some of these cats catching major bodies out here. Like, who's saying free OJ? Who was saying, rather? Who was saying? A better question.
Nobody.
Exactly. Nobody want that nigga free. We know he poked all of them up.
That documentary was pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah. That documentary was dope. We came to the conclusion that because she didn't have good blinds, that's the only reason that they all end up getting taken out.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, if she had some better drapes, she'd be alive today.
She'd be good.
She'd be living.
Getting back to what's important. Right. Issue 2, Chance the Rapper.
Chance, my man Chance.
Probably one of my favorite giving philanthropists in the industry right now. But tell the people a little more about issue 2.
Issue 2 was about Chance the Rapper. He was at what they called open mic in Chicago, where they have performances with black kids and things like that. And he gave out the Win Like 96 all red Jordans, I think 300 pairs to the kids.
I think it was 300.
Yeah, I think it was about 300 pairs. I should remember, but I wrote it way back in December. But that issue was about how wearing sneakers like that make people in the hood feel like they're a part of mainstream society.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about, let me buy some Jordans to look cool. It's about feeling included in society.
Right.
While you're walking around in these disheveled neighborhoods and you're being neglected in the education system, you're being neglected socially, you're being neglected on television. So those sneakers, I felt like Chance understood it. Mm-hmm. Like, this is something else. It's not just a gift. It's to make them feel included. Right. To let them know that somebody is still thinking about them. Mm. So I thought that was dope. And I thought when people read it, they felt empowered. They felt like, oh, she's talking about how I grew up. Mm-hmm. And my sister's girlfriend, she shared it, and she was like, I know why I wear my J's. And I damn near cried. I was like, oh, my God.
You better say that.
Yeah, that part. Because it's all about, when you're socially oppressed, you put on this cool demeanor because you have to deal with this reality that you live in.
Right.
So that's kind of all you have to harness to come to grips with the everyday neglect, everyday stress.
Right.
So, you act cool. Like, what up? I'm chilling.
You're right. For somebody that's not familiar with that society, if they were to read that, they'd be like, okay, I kind of get it. It's not just about they just want to have Jordans. It means this. To me, when I read it, I was like, oh, she gets it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was dope.
That's what's up.
I thought, even with him giving now, my first thing, I was kind of nervous when I first heard about it when he did it, because I'm like, damn, some of these cats come from the roughest parts of Chicago, and now we walking around low-key targets on your feet. But
that's true.
I mean, I haven't heard of any, because, they like to keep tabs on
the
inner city
they
kids.
got killed over them shoes
exactly.
Chance
So
gave out.
Surprised we ain't see anything about that, because you know, a lot of times with the media, they look for reasons to call Chance anything else from what he actually is. And I think after what was this, SNL?
When?
Saturday Night Live?
He did Saturday Night Live recently, didn't he?
I don't know if it was recently.
Well, I think it was like a few months ago. It wasn't like recent. You know what the fuck I'm trying
It
to say,
wasn't real recent. It was a little bit recent.
I remember after he did, you know, his stuff on Saturday Night Live, and, you know, of course it got political. They always get political on there.
For sure.
And, you know, they were there was one post saying that Chance was a gangster rapper. Chance is literally 2 hallelujahs away from being a gospel rapper.
That part.
You know what I mean? I'm like, that's how you know you don't know shit about this dude.
And my whole thing is, so what even if he is a gangster rapper? So
what does it matter? Are you listening to his music?
Right.
Is he affecting your people? Nah, you good. But with that, also look at Chance giving. We gave $2 million to the inner city schools in Chicago.
To the schools.
I look at that kind of philanthropy, and I look at the Jordans and really everything he's done outside of what's getting reported, because he's done so much in silence. With us, with our people, why does he? And this is me asking just from your opinion, obviously, but just how do you feel about the hate that he gets in the black community? Because there's no in between. There's either I fuck with Chance or fuck Chance.
You know what? I haven't really met many people that say fuck Chance.
A lot of times they talk about how this is the funniest one I've heard, and this was in grad school at that. They said his music is too positive. I've heard people go off about that. They said they don't really want to hear that kind of gospel work. I've heard a lot of people say that his philanthropy acts are just that. They're just publicity stunts. Try to help
I hate when
build
now that's
that.
the thing that I can't stand when people like, oh, he's only doing that because
he wants to buy NBC, of course.
You don't know what?
I said because he wants to buy NBC. The same reason all black men get taken down.
Okay.
You know?
But I just be like, you know, who cares why he's like, who are you? How do you know what he's doing it for?
Right.
And he's doing it and helping a lot of people. So at the end of the day, like, what's the point of being hypercritical about that?
Right.
But when people say fuck Chance, honestly, I don't have an answer. I can't see why anybody would say fuck him. I do know that some people feel iffy about him because they feel like he's a political agent for the Democrats. And because his father is part of the Democratic Party and has been for a long time. I don't know if he's a lobbyist or is a politician.
Well, I need to jump down that rabbit hole. I never heard this.
Yeah, jump down that rabbit hole.
Jump down that one.
And, you know, a lot of people feel betrayed by the Democrats. And I feel like I don't know, I've felt like that, you know, because they are in the pockets of corporations as well. But that's my only issue with Chance. Like, I think that he's a dope artist. I think that his philanthropy is dope. I think that his social connection with people in the hood and the education system, I think all of that is commendable. But I don't like that he acts like an agent for the Democrats. And I think that he should just kind of say that his family are Democrat agents, you know, Democratic agents. But he doesn't. So that's kind of manipulative in that sense. But overall, I think that he's really dope. I think he's for us.
Definitely.
And we still got to, you know, keep tabs on, you know, political agendas overall, though, for sure.
It's interesting, though, hearing that, because that sounds like that comes more from the side of being aware, and I guess if you had to put a word on it, woke. But,
right, that word.
You know, it comes from the side of being aware. The people that I know don't like Chance, I am positive they can't spell philanthropy.
Stop it.
Like, I'm more than positive they can't.
I really haven't met anybody that didn't like him.
I heard a lot of it more so in California.
Oh, in
Especially
Cali.
because I went to grad school in San Fran.
Okay.
And, you know, Chance is from, you know, the younger millennial generation. Like, that's, like, everybody's really pushing and championing him. But it's interesting because it's split down the middle. Because they can't really feed into the positive, you know, vibes that he tries to produce.
Rap.
Like, everyone's like, man, you need to go back to acid rap. You need to go back to this, that, and the third. But if that's not where you're at anymore, what Jay say? Niggas like my old shit by my own album.
Yeah.
Is that simple?
That part. I love
People
that
are
one.
afraid of growth. Certain people like that are afraid of growth.
They're
agree.
not ready for it.
Because I mean, you'd be stupid to think an artist is going to stay in the same pocket his entire
The same
career. If he
genre.
doesn't grow, then that means he really is not a good artist.
Yeah.
Like, all artists evolve, adapt to what's going on, change the game up. And Chance has probably been one of the best examples of that, because I really didn't dig acid rap, and be honest. I feel like I'm alone in that
rap?
one. That was like his first major album or major mixtape, at least.
Reference a song. Is there a song that you can reference? What is that?
I think what's it called? Juice. Yeah, I know you probably gonna get it.
I'm gonna go look that up.
And the thing is, I can't.
Acid rap.
Every time I try to sing the record on here, he always gives me this look, and they can hear him giving me the look. So I'm not gonna go into it, but it's a terrible song. Just being completely honest
terrible?
with you, yeah, it's real bad. Like Chance was on some different shit when he did this
like
album.
mumble rap though, so I can't take y'all word that serious.
Yeah, you can. That's more of a reason why you can.
Oh my gosh.
Shit, I fuck with him now. I fuck with Chance 3 Coloring Book. It was nice.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure whenever album he drop, I'm gonna dig.
You're gonna like it.
But acid rap just wasn't for me. You may not like acid rap, but then again,
I might.
you're right, exactly.
I might.
I think that's the only real issue.
That's the only issue
I guess
you have
I
with
would
him.
have with you.
Oh, with me?
Yeah, that's
we
just
got issues?
such a wild music choice.
Oh my god.
Even though I'm pretty sure they're probably in your comments say, "Fuck that old nigga." Like I'm only 28, bro.
Right.
They might think that you old.
See, exactly. But then again, my appearance doesn't help because I was like, I'm 28, and they see this bald nigga with a beard.
Yeah, because I definitely thought you were older when I first met you.
Everybody thinks that, but it's fine. It's cool. Been able to buy shit well under the age when I needed to.
Okay,
it worked out for
came
me
in
back
handy.
in the day. Exactly. Getting back to everything, we always get off course here.
No, that's cool.
Issue 3.
Issue 3.
And of course, this one, at least when it came down to the shares, I saw this one the most, and that was the coolest monkey in the room.
Did you?
Yeah. Now this one I saw get spins. This is one that really like brought the attention to, oh, she's doing this consistently. Oh, okay, she really on this. So tell us a little more about issue 3, and then of course I'm gonna have some more.
For sure. I hope we can really dig into this one because this one is like found the most controversial, I feel like. It's called I'm a Proud Monkey, issue 3 of the majority, and it's addressing the H&M ad with the little black boy, and it says, I'm the coolest monkey in the jungle, in juxtaposition of the little white boy that says, I'm the jungle survival expert. So in that article, what I did was I highlighted the racial undertone of putting cool in front of monkey and putting that on a little black boy. Because cool is a cultural behavior that blacks, I don't want to say adopted, but developed as a defense mechanism. And that's coined from a psychologist that studied black male behavior. And it's called cool pose. So I just referenced that in the newsletter. And just let people know, like, this is actually racist. Yeah, this is a racial undertone. And I wanted people to understand that H&M is in a sinking ship. The storefronts are all doing pretty bad. So they lost some money. And a lot of companies last year, what they did was play with a lot of, disrespectful type of imagery or visuals to try to elicit that emotional response so that they can turn into a story. That's why we're still talking about H&M right now. So that it's free publicity. And it was definitely racist. I
can't see how it could be anything else.
Yeah. And
all them damn sweaters and the black boy ended up with the monkey sweater.
Right. And I don't understand why people are like, you call little kids monkey all the time. Like, yeah, you do, but you call your child a monkey.
Right.
Don't call mine's one, or don't call hers a monkey.
Right.
And not only that, when you have the little white boy that's the expert and the black boy is the monkey, that's too closely referenced to slavery for me.
Right.
So, but of course I kept it real cute in that issue. I kept it cute, informative, and got straight to the point.
That's why we got you on the Noise. Ain't no filters here. That should stop at the doorbell.
Okay.
So it's all good.
And I referenced the Kendrick Lamar line in there because I wanted to tie it to hip hop too, because I felt like somebody was going to say, Kendrick Lamar said I'm a monkey, because he did say I'm a proud monkey.
Right.
But that's parallel to saying I'm black and I'm proud.
Right.
Versus I'm a cool monkey. And he was saying they vandalize our perspective, which is, y'all vandalize how we even look at ourselves.
Right.
But you want to give us this image. So that's how I closed it. Like, that's vandalism.
Right.
So,
Kev, I'm going to let you get your shots off.
No,
first.
go ahead. No, you go first.
Referencing something you just said, where this is a continuing thing in advertising, it almost feels like advertisers are trolling the black community.
Trolling.
And the only reason I say that is because if you remember around that time, the H&M story was just way bigger. but I want to say it was either the same day or the same week. Adidas released a advert for their Predator shoe. And
I think that was the week before.
It was the week before?
I think it was the week before.
The Predator, on the poster, there was no shoe.
Nah.
It was
Wait.
It was just a black dude.
Right, with dreads or something, right?
No, just you didn't see dreads or anything. You just saw a black dude just looking at the camera.
Oh, and it said the Predator.
And it just said Predator. And then at the bottom was all the Adidas stuff. But there was no shoe or anything like that. And, that pissed me off because just same thing with the monkey. We were called super predators at one point. Yeah. We still get called super predators. So now you got this advert where you're promoting a shoe, but you don't get that feeling from it. You just see predator and you see black man. So okay, you got to connect black men with predators. Fear the black man. Exactly. I feared for my life, and we all know how that normally goes.
Right.
Then I think it was another one. It was the most recent one.
But think about Predator the movie.
Right. Yeah.
And tell me is that a black man?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, that's a black dude.
Yeah, first of all, that's disrespectful. And then people have to understand that these visuals, they play a significant role of how we perceive things and what we think reality is. That's why we think people in Africa got a bunch of guns shooting up everything. Because of these images that we keep seeing over and over and over again. It goes into your subconscious. And you say, black... Oh, yeah, he looks scary. They end up looking scary, and then next thing you know, they shot by the police. But that's
for holding a cell phone in your grandma's backyard.
That part.
But yeah, go ahead, love.
That's a whole nother episode there.
Right.
But no, I feel you. And I mean, even with, the Africa reference, being black, it took years for me. It took my uncle going to Gambia for me to really see, oh, shit, it's nice as hell over
right,
there.
It's nice.
Because you didn't get none of that through any kind of mainstream media, any kind of movie, anything.
You don't even get that in the history books.
Exactly. They treat Africa the way that they treated Wakanda in
seriously.
Black Panther. There we go. I was about to say Avengers. But yeah, the way they would talk about it before, everyone is either broke and hungry or shooting shit up and robbing.
Exactly.
They're living good. They're straight. This is much bigger than these little rural areas you keep pulling out. Another one recently that's getting a lot of attention is the Bud Light colorism ad.
I did not see that. What is tea?
So this one, they I guess they put out a new version, but it could be Bud Light or Miller Lite. It's one of them that has light. And the bartender slides, again, it's either Bud or Miller. He slides the drink and it passes mad dark skinned people and then it gets to a light skinned girl at the end of the table, and when she grabs it and then the advert comes up, lighter is better.
Oh, somebody just said something about that.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that?
Oh, Chance just spoke out on that actually, and I was like, what is he talking
your boy
about?
did.
But I didn't know. I didn't see the commercial, but I just heard somebody say that he said something about it, and I just feel like, I'm tired of y'all trying to make us upset.
Right.
We get it. Okay, y'all trying to be funny, or y'all trying to turn into this big story. You're trying to trend on Twitter. And that's another thing that I highlight in that issue is okay, you just wanted to, transcend from being an ad to being a media story.
Right. They're taking the all publicity is good publicity route. But it just seems to me, again, it just seems like trolling.
Yeah.
When you look at Tekashi 6ix9ine and how he said everything that he said and how he operates, he knows that's going to bring attention. He knows that's going to bring views. It seems like these companies, these $1 million companies, are doing this shit because they know people are going to look into it. They're going to have people that are going to, run and be on their side. Even with the coolest monkey in the jungle, I was shocked by his mother coming out and saying I know what it means, and I don't think it's crazy like that. Come on, man. We can't show that the bag will get us. Just, hey, no, it's good. I promise it's good. Because if they take that check, that's that. It's an issue. All of a sudden now it's Black Power.
Probably their PR, hey.
Yeah, probably their PR, but also I think they grew up in Switzerland, so they don't understand our struggle.
I don't know.
That's the only logical reason I can think to say that.
It seemed like it would be more of a struggle over there.
I don't think so.
Maybe
I don't think it would be more of a struggle.
Yeah, maybe over there you got people that don't like black people, but if you were born over there, your grandparents weren't a slave.
Well, yeah, I don't think they're out there just getting capped on camera and the shooters.
No, that's
getting
what
off.
I'm saying. Their experience over there being black is completely different from ours. So that's probably why she felt that we were blowing this out of proportion.
It's for sure different. I don't know any people in Switzerland, but from what I hear, their economy is like better than ours.
Oh, yeah, our economy is shit right now.
Yeah, so like the levels, the difference in levels, and this is me just thinking, don't quote me on this. When the economy is very different, racism doesn't need to be this big logic, because then you don't have to place the blame of being poor onto these black people or these minorities. So when people are racist, then they can say, oh, those black people are lazy. That's why they don't have any money. So you don't really need that logic if your economy is like decent. You know what I'm saying?
That makes a lot of sense.
It makes perfect sense.
So that's probably why she doesn't really experience racism like that. And if she does in Switzerland, when I meet people from places like Denmark, Switzerland, they are like, well, I'm a woman, so that could be something else. But
they ain't being
like,
nice to my black ass.
they're kind of excited, like, oh. But, I mean, it's not cool because it's more like you become an exhibit at that point. Mm-hmm. But maybe not really understanding racism like that, you might feel like, oh, he loves my black skin. But it's like going to see a lion in the zoo. It's like, oh, look at his mane. Let me see. So you're not really human at that point. You're like, something to be looked at and explored.
I can't even flex. When she says like an exhibit,
yeah,
I don't know why that made me upset. First thing I thought about was, oh God, I feel like I'm gonna end up fucking her name up, but the Sarah Bartman, one that they had
That's
her
the
on.
first thing I thought
That's the
about.
first thing I thought about.
With the butt, right?
Exactly. And it's so crazy that here we are in 2018, and it's still almost like, look at it. It's a black person.
For sure.
Don't get too close because they're predators. But
Definitely, right.
Like it's insane how certain shit, all this evolution can happen, but that's the one thing that kind of just remains the same. Like it's just this natural look when it comes down to black people, just amongst, I want to say others, but I mean white people. I'm just gonna say
White people, others, and black people. That's how it should be classified because white people are something else, blacks are something else, and others are something else.
Or just in the middle, just trying to make it
clear, But racism is just a working system that has to be dismantled. Can't really just ignore it and be like, oh, she's being racist, whatever. Nah.
And it's funny how they talk about it when the shoe is on the other foot. Have you been seeing these stories about the white South Africans?
No, what's going on?
How they playing victim?
They playing super victim. They're getting so much media coverage over here. I'm like, nigga, we've been asking for this shit for years, and they getting cover stories just because they pissed off that the last 20 years ain't been the best. Like it's crazy. I guess white South Africans get treated like black people here, and we're supposed to like run to their aid.
Do they? Because I thought that white people were the dominant.
I thought they were too.
I think it's poor white people out there.
Oh, it's poor white people.
The poor white people, right?
Oh.
Well,
if only our white people woke up over here, we might be doing a little bit better.
We might be able to come together and make something happen, but nah, not at all. But yeah, like they've been running a few stories about it, and it's interesting because we have people, fuck the fact that they're poor. We have middle class people here who are actually working and making honest living that are still struggling, just enough to get by. You don't see no stories about that.
No one cares.
Right.
People feel like. Well, I'm not going to say, okay, I'll say this. People have a weird perception of their reality. They feel like, oh, well, if they're not making enough, it's because of them. But it's like, well, you probably ain't making enough neither. So how could you even view them like any differently than yourself at that point? Not only that, people use the logic of the dominant group. Like, oh, well, if they don't have that house, they didn't work hard enough for it. And it's like, you can't think like them up there because they're the ones that's taking money from you.
Exactly.
And keeping it in their cesspool. So it's just odd that people adopt that. It's not odd. I know why. But it just sucks.
You got the mic. Why is it?
It's just a dominant discourse that's working. And it's rooted in neoliberalism, the neoliberal dogma. And it's so hard for me to kind of break that logic down. But it's basically you are valued by how much you own and how much access you have.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just one slice of it. So that working regime is what creates that logic. like, oh, well, you know, they're making that much money because they work that hard. And then the success stories don't help. All these success stories, I made it from the bottom. Now I'm blah, blah, blah. You can do it too. It's like you
Small
can,
loan
but
of $1 million from Pops.
yeah, that part.
Shit.
Or they're not saying, you know, I did this because all the resources that I was able to tap into or all the people that helped me.
Right.
It's not like you just was so amazing that you just did all this. That was a small part. But that's not everything.
Right.
And then that's not going to happen for everybody. Because then if we can all be rich, then...
Shit.
Yeah, you know, that's just not a reality. We can't all be rich because there's only a certain amount of money.
Right.
So that money just shifts like this. So it's not even logical. Not in our system.
That's how billionaires stay billionaires. Probably why they
Right.
won't let Diddy in. That's why he's fighting as hard as to get in there. No,
Yeah.
didn't Jay just pass him?
I think Jay did.
Well, shit, let's go, Jay, goddammit. The fourth issue, the one I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed all of them, but this one was super dope. Black Panther.
Black
The highest
Panther.
grossing superhero movie. Let me give it its respect.
Right.
I'm sorry. Black Panther, Wakanda or America? Tell the people about that.
Wakanda or America. Okay, so I've seen that movie 3 times. I need to see it a 4th time in 3D.
Right there with you.
Yeah, I need
And
to go
3D
see
is dope. When I first
Yeah.
saw it, it was in 3D. It was
Yeah,
dope.
they said you really feel like you going in Wakanda. Like,
Yeah.
hey, okay. That movie was so lit. I was like
That it was.
twerking the whole time. Like, hey, okay. But when I was watching it, I was like, okay, they did their thing. And I did from what I seen, and I think a lot of people kind of agree, that Wakanda is the elite of America. That's how I seen it. They're the elite blacks in America that are those success stories, or like, oh, all you need to do is do this and you'll be great. And they basically don't assimilate with black existence, because black existence is not black elitism.
Right.
It's not. It's poor for the most part. It's poor, it's disenfranchised, it's marginalized, it's subjugated, it's locked out. That's the reality of black existence. So just because you made it, that doesn't mean that you just don't get it anymore. You do
Right.
get it.
Right.
You do get it.
You're
Or
just
your
choosing
ego.
to.
Yeah, your ego is not allowing you to.
Right.
So I made a reference to a conversation that Dr. Cornel West was having on a show. I forgot what that show was, where he said that moral conviction is replaced today by upward mobility. So instead of being morally...
I don't remember him saying that, but that's a good one.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it really is, and that's the sad part. And that has to do with the neoliberal dogma being placed into our society, which didn't happen into the 60s.
Right.
That's when they started to work on pushing that as a logic for our country. But anyways, moral conviction is just, having some sense of social responsibility and empathy towards others,
Right.
like Malcolm X did, like Martin Luther King did, things like that. Instead, people are focused on, how do I make it out of the struggle and make money? How do I make money and just leave all this behind? And that's exactly what they do when they get money. A lot of blacks do.
Some of them definitely do try to get back. And that's why I was actually going to talk to you about it, with getting, reaching that next level, reaching that status, financially, socially, the whole nine. And the cats that say they want to go back, they want to buy back the block. We had a whole conversation on the show about it. And it's interesting that you have ones that say it, then you have ones that legitimately do it, that you've never heard them speak about it. They let their
Like
actions
Slim
do
Thug.
Exactly. Prime example. Everyone was sleeping on Slim Thug, thinking he wasn't really out here, working and doing that to do.
Work.
Yeah,
putting in work.
rebuilding some of the shittiest parts of Houston. And it's still allowing it to be for the black people there. Now, here, obviously, when they get, well, just in America, and I guess Houston is a part of America, but I guess just in other parts of the country, or majority of the country, when black people get to that place, why is it so easy to just, all right, I'm here, I'm comfortable, let me just move in the right crowds, let me keep going from here?
Why is it so easy to turn your back, not assimilate anymore?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if it's easy. I don't think that it's easy for them. I really don't. I think that that's something that they have, unless they're just this arrogant, egotistical guy. Because what you would have to do once you succeeded and you have all this money, what you would have to do is say, I'm not that amazing. I'm not that dope. You have to shed that hyper individual logic.
Right.
And you have to be humble. You have to say, you know, I only made it here because of this, this, and this, and because of this education I received, or because of this person that became my personal mentor, or because this creative director took my brand to another level. I am where I am. Mm. And when you do that, you're paying homage to all these other people. So to me, it doesn't. It takes from how dope you are or how sexy of an entrepreneur you are. And once you think like that, once you are able to think like that and be humble, I think that's when you're able to find that moral conviction that Dr. Cornel West was thinking. Not only that, a lot of people think in this hyper-individual way, which means that, you know, what happens to me only happens to me. Right. Instead of looking at things as a collective. Like the shootings, for example. Stephen Clark, he got shot in the backyard, right? Mm. Some people can say, well, why did he pull out that phone? Why was he standing back there? Well, you can't really do that with that one. Let's say Philando.
They still do, though.
They do?
Definitely still do.
I've been trying not to watch the news. Okay, so they're saying that?
Oh, yeah. They've been saying, you know, like, well, you're just standing around is looking like an issue. And then when you get approached, all of a sudden you're pulling something out. Like, of course, you know, they always try to justify why it ended up happening. And even with what you're about to bring up with Philando, they tried their hardest to find something.
I think Philando's probably a better story to relate it to, because let's say that all three of us was having a conversation about Philando Castile and why he got shot by the police. If we looked at it individually, we would say Philando got shot because he didn't show his hands right away, blah, blah, blah. We would pick it apart. If it just was one instance, but it's not. Right. It's a bunch of it. Right. So once people are able to see a collective, that this is happening to a lot of people, for whatever reason, we know it's racial animosity, then we're able to have that moral conviction. Right. Because now it's about humans instead of individuals, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does.
I think to be the kind of person that's not so self-absorbed, you have to be really self-aware, and I don't think people are self-aware yet. I think that's where a lot of that comes from. I think people can. Me personally, I think they do turn their back fairly easily, because they just like, if I can get me and my team out of here, then I'm good.
Sometimes not even the team.
Right. Sometimes not the team, but their mindset is it's me versus the world. Initially. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got my girl and she with me, but it's me against the world. So if they can get them out of that situation, then it's not me, and they have enough money to where me against the world doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Right. And they're not trying to go back to deal with who may be still back there and kind of better their situation. So it's easy for them to turn their way. They got themselves out of that situation.
I mean, that's kind of what we're taught, though, right? That's kind of, we're taught, like, you know, do what you need to do, get rich if you can, and just, you know, worry about yourself, worry about your own wealth, and not for people. Yeah,
that's embedded in us. People, to be human is not embedded in us.
I don't know.
To be a person is embedded in us. So we move the way that we feel people should move, or the way we're taught people should move. Okay, not the way humans should move. Right. And that's the bigger issue right now. People aren't human anymore.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's a very true statement.
Super true. And it's funny, like, just kind of piggyback off that, having that feeling of, I got out, I'm going to be good. Mm-hmm. You know, we talk about it on the show all the time. We can only speak from the side of a black man, obviously. As black men, we're like raised not to trust the next nigga, literally by those words. We're raised, fuck bitches, get money. Like, we're raised by this kind of culture to just not fuck with anybody. So when you have those people who move forward and end up joining the elitist group and they're making those figures, that's why I felt like it would be easy, because it's already programmed in our head. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck with black people, but when I get to a place and I gotta choose fucking with black people or being comfortable, I'm gonna be comfortable. I'm kicking my feet up. Yeah. And that's just something with me. I always hated about us, but I mean, I feel like we're trying to get it together, though.
I think the fuck niggas get money and fuck bitches get money and fuck niggas or whatever. I think that's adopted into our logic because we don't have a lot of resources. Right. So it's like, since I don't have that much, or it's like me coming in here with a sandwich, I can't share all this, so I'm gonna eat it outside. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to do this with them because I can't feed all them. I don't want that
Right.
responsibility. So I'm gonna just go do me.
It's terrible because I'm about to say that sounds like some black shit right there.
Right, girl, don't bring that food in their house.
Finish this McDouble before I go in the crib real quick.
Exactly. It's just like that to me.
No, I agree. I definitely see that. This one can go on forever. I definitely wanted to touch on the most recent one you wrote, so I didn't get a chance to read it. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I'm going to read it immediately after this interview. I'm sorry, your writing is it gets you.
Oh, that's
Like,
what's
Yeah,
up.
and that's what I asked him. As a fellow writer myself, I asked him, I was like, does she like write for somebody? Is she working for somebody? I said, if not, she needs to be working for somebody.
No, that's the exact message.
I'm working for me. I'm working for the
Like,
majority.
I was like, her writing is that damn good, and like I don't see it often. And I read and write a lot. I don't see it often, so I was like,
what's
yeah,
up.
that's dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, a lot of people that that write what you do, they really they really rest in the quotes and they rest in the examples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was just all bars. The best way to put it, So I really enjoyed it. So I'm definitely going to check out the Bruno Mars one. But if we can get a sneak peek, tell us a little about the Bruno Mars cultural appropriation.
So he was trending in the media for being a cultural appropriator. And what I did in that issue was compare him to people like Kim Kardashian or the Kardashians as a whole. Because to me, he's not a cultural appropriator, but he does benefit off of not being black and singing black music. And in that issue, I explained the mixed race struggles that they deal with in terms of identity, ethnicity, culture, things like that, and how they are more fluid when it comes to adopting different things from different cultures, different elements. And what is he? He's Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican, Filipino, and Jewish.
Yeah, Jewish.
Or
right.
Jewish descent, whatever. He's white. That's white, though.
Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's white.
That's white.
Yeah.
That's a long way of saying white.
So people are upset with him, and I guess it was a girl named Siren. Her name was Siren Cincy, something like that.
Viral
but
video.
she had this a lot of aggression towards him, like, oh, he plays up his racial ambiguity and he's a cultural appropriator. He doesn't improve upon the music. He just rehashes it, which in a sense she making a point. But I think it's wrong to say that he plays up his racial ambiguity, because that's like saying that I play up my blackness, or you play up your blackness. You play up your blackness. It's like, what do you mean? He plays up his racial ambiguity. He looks mixed.
Right.
He can't change that. And I included a study on how multiracial people, which is a propaganda word, I hate using stuff like that, but how they feel isolated and they don't feel included because they're so mixed. And it's like, well, what do I choose?
I mean, they get the others box. You feel me?
Yeah, they get the
It's all
for
good.
sure. And then they get this hostility towards him, like, oh, you think you're this, or why aren't you more Spanish, or why aren't So that's what that issue is about. And I shed light on culture is not really tied to race as much as we think it is. It's tied to our cultural lineage. It's tied to how we're brought up,
Right.
what environment we're in, what city we live in, things like that. And he grew up in Hawaii. Hawaii is very uniquely diverse. It's not a lot of white people out there. I mean, now it might be. But it wasn't a lot of white people out there when he grew up. It was mostly Spanish, Micronesian, Polynesian, people like that. And they're very culturally fluid. So I wanted people to understand that, the real cultural appropriators are people like Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Women that wear, these white women, she's white. I hate when people like, she's European, she's white. And she wears black hairstyles that I can't wear without people looking at me like, oh, look at
Yeah,
this
you ain't
ghetto
getting that
ass.
job. Right, exactly.
Can't get the job. Can't wear this at the Aria. I can't wear my hair like this when I work at Wynn.
But she's a trendsetter.
She's
bringing
and
in a new
she
style and all this other
right.
stuff.
She received this notoriety for being distinct and different and trendy and or edgy. Right, that's the new word, edgy. She's edgy. Why? She's edgy because she's wearing hair that we wear
Been where?
to protect our hair, to keep it neat. And you guys say that it's not neat. Those are the culture appropriators that misappropriate our culture, not people like Bruno Mars.
Right. And from that point, I mean, that's helped me look at it from a completely different spectrum. Like, I feel the exact same way. I don't think he's appropriating the culture. And it's interesting that we start giving a fuck about things that we tell each other not to give a fuck about, like Grammy nominations and Grammy wins.
Right.
When someone else gets it over us. Like now all of a sudden we're back into the mode. And so what you just said, hold on, I don't want to make sure I misquote it. Damn, I just lost it. I was right there. I was watching it leave. Shit, what was it? All right, I'll circle back to it if it comes back. There we go. Just came back. Just found it. So with Kim Kardashian, and she does it, all of a sudden it's something brand new. It's something that's never been done before, and it's the new trend. It's the new look.
Right.
You know, they never said that Bruno Mars reinvented the sound.
Never. He doesn't say that.
Exactly. When you ask him about it, he'll give you this solid list of the artists that inspired him to do it. I think when they asked him about his performance at what was it, the BET Awards? Yeah. They asked him about his performance, he was like, it's Morris Day and the Times.
Exactly.
Of course. Like to me, he pays homage. And granted, giving the credit to where credit is due isn't always passable, because there's a lot of cats out here, and you probably won't remember, but there was a dude named Snow, a white guy, he used to do reggae back in the early 90s, Canadian cat, nowhere near Jamaican. He would try to give, he would try to give, pay homage to Buju Banton and a lot of the legendary reggae artists, but it's like, nah, bro. We know that's not your culture. We know that's nowhere near you. From Canada. You ain't doing none of that shit.
In Canada, they have a lot of that, reggae style music there.
True. But I think with Snow, they found like
that he grew up turbo white.
Super white. Like, I'm more than positive he was a mayonnaise guy.
Not mayonnaise guy.
He definitely wasn't with the Miracle Whip.
Right.
It's wrist motion.
That part.
Wrist motion.
But yeah, just getting back to it though. I feel like he respects the music. I feel like he respects the culture at that, and he's never tried to take from it the way Elvis did. The way that everyone bit off of Chuck Berry.
Why do you think Elvis took from the culture?
It was kind of like directly handed to him, low key. Certain records, and of course he put his own little spin on it, but
I don't really know Elvis's story, but that's interesting.
Oh no, this Hound Dog, Big Mama Thornton. That's like the most known story with that one.
Okay.
Written and performed by a black woman. He took that, and that became one of his biggest records.
Oh wow!
Right.
Okay, yeah,
he bit it hard. And there was a lot of cats that grew up. Well, not grew up, but came up in the industry and became nothing because he took their records.
Oh wow!
So like, I look at stuff like that.
That's a documentary for your ass.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure there's something out there right now about it.
Yeah, that's the tea.
And you look at stuff like that. Like, to me, that's not even cultural appropriation. That's just blatant stealing.
Yeah, you're a thief.
You know what I mean? And
that's whitewashing. I mean, I'm pretty sure he changed the sound
completely.
Yeah.
No, not too much.
Oh, he didn't change it?
They played the original Hound Dog in his version. It just sounds like a white guy singing it compared to her soulful, rendition of it. And you look at stuff like that, and then you fast forward to today. It's like, I don't see the connection.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's not the same.
So it just sometimes it does get annoying because we're not supposed to care about the Grammy nominations. We're not supposed to care about the wins because we know they're never in our favor. We said on the show the first hip hop Oscar went to a white guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we know that they're not checking for us. But as soon as somebody that's not black gets something in a quote black category. Yeah, because they put him in R&B, but that's obviously not R&B.
That's pop.
No, that's pop.
He's a
easily
pop artist.
Exactly. But you win something in the black category as a non-black.
Damn, that's
all of a sudden it's an issue. As hell. Oh yeah, they don't get it. They just hear, oh, okay, I like the rhythm. That's R&B.
They get it. They get it. Nah.
we ain't letting that one slide.
Yeah, nah, they get that for sure.
No, but I definitely need to read it. I wish I read it because I'd have more to say.
Culture Vulture, and I titled it that because I'm like, people are like, oh, here she go, let's read it. She going off on this one.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, I did call some people some culture vultures, but it wasn't him.
I'm sure they deserved it.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting to me is with all the culture vultures out there and how hip hop culture it's always been American culture.
Yeah.
But we can see that hip hop culture is currently American culture. Are we going to start, getting more
non-black?
Yeah, well, of course, that's going to keep happening. I just realized I'm about to answer my own question because we're not going to get the credit that we deserve for it. People aren't looking at, Kool Herc in the first hip hop party. They're not looking at certain aspects of hip hop and seeing that it's more than just the fashion and it's more than just the music. Like, it's so deep and it goes back so far. I'd rather see more respect and knowledge towards this culture that's that's just becoming American culture. Everybody got ass now.
Hip hop.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
true.
got braids now. Like it's us.
Yeah,
And that comes from us.
And
Everyone
the sad
has
part
ass.
is like, these non-blacks or mostly Spanish women are getting their asses done, and I understand because but
a lot of them are shaped like capital P's.
you so silly. But they're copying black women that had ass, right? Okay, so now they're getting their ass done, and then now black women are getting their ass done to look bigger, and it just I don't know, it's just odd because I'd be like, damn, I want to get my butt done, but at one point I felt like I had ass. That's what you call misappropriation.
Okay.
Because your ass is just ridiculous, and you're copying black women.
Right.
So now you're just completely changing not changing, but I guess manipulating what natural curves were for black women. Now they're enhancing it to keep up with
I get what you're saying.
this dominant look that
right,
was
exactly.
misappropriated
Right.
by these non-blacks.
And just 10, 15 years ago, the shit was unattractive. It was gross. It was
Right, now it's
technically
lit.
obese. Now it's the thing to do.
Now it's like a signifier of wealth. Like, you have money if you have your ass
insane.
done.
It really is. Yo.
Yeah, like, you
Wow.
probably have a little bit of money if you got your titties done, your ass done, your teeth. Oh, okay, she probably is in a better tax bracket than the one who has a natural body.
Right.
Nope, they still be sleeping on air mattresses.
Of course.
You stupid. Shut up.
I've seen it.
Twin bed air mattresses. That would be the most enjoyable air
With
mattress.
one sheet.
Pillowcase full of sweaters. We can go all day. Anyway, no, that's amazing. It makes me want to go back and reread all of the newsletters.
Yes,
I can tell you straight up, speaking for myself, I'm pretty sure Kev agree. We're going to keep up with the majority and everything that you have to do.
Yeah.
Anything that we can do from our side to help push the movement, please let us know. Feel free to reach out. You
Absolutely.
see, you hit me
I'm
up
glad
on the same
you
day.
said movement because it's definitely a movement.
Oh, of course.
The majority, that word, that phrase, I want people to understand that really embodies the struggle of the majority of people, mostly in America, but in the world. Like these disenfranchised people that have low social capital, low resources in education, and other ways to build yourself up are the majority. And I want people to really attach to that and create some kind of empathy towards people that are in that struggle and their neighbor if they're in that struggle together.
Right. I mean, as your spirit animal, cousin Angela, she
Hey,
would put it.
say that.
It's working woke. Like it's doing what everyone loves making a status about until something different happens, and all of a sudden, look at these shoes. But it's actually putting forth the time and the effort, and like you said, it's not going to stop at the newsletter.
It's not.
It's going to expand into something way bigger than just what a couple characters could possibly do. And just outside looking in as a fan, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
That's why it was no question when I saw about the press run, I'm like, okay, so the Noize got to be on there.
Yes,
Ain't no way
let's
the Noize
do
not gonna be on
it.
there.
The Noize.
You ain't coming to Vegas and doing. You better check in.
You check in.
We say check in with the Noize
That's
on every
hilarious.
episode.
So I'm going to see y'all at the pop-up gallery.
That you shall. That you shall. And we may have to show up and show out at the pop-up gallery a
do.
little bit.
It's at On the Arm Boutique.
Okay.
It's a really dope refurbished jewelry store that is now a streetwear clothing store. It's managed by this young, savvy 20-year-old guy named Mike. And I came in there with Kiara Katz. She's she's basically like my brand consultant. I sent her the first issue of The Majority. After I finished it, I just sent it out to like friends, posted it on Facebook. She was like, yo, this is so dope. And I didn't think that she was going to be that impressed because she's very like particular in that way. So I made sure it was really nice before I sent it to her. But, she was on it. She was very supportive. She created a press release for it. And my initial idea for placement, I just was thinking about placement. I was like, I'm going to turn it into a placemat, get it inside some restaurants or whatever, something like that. And she was like, no, you should do a pop-up gallery. So that's how we came up with that. And I found On the Arm Boutique, super dope place. Went in, sent the event deck, got the sponsor, Luke Belair, got the DJs, and I got some merch too. So, yeah.
Oh, you popping. So,
Yes.
excuse me. We behind. We
Right.
So just so everyone knows when, where, and how it's going down, let the people know all the info.
Okay.
Of the pop-up gallery.
So the pop-up gallery is going to be April 13th, Friday the 13th. So, it's kind of lit. I like that day. Yeah, Friday the 13th.
And I'm off Fridays. Let's go.
Hey, yes, Friday the 13th at On the Arm Boutique. It starts at 7:30. It ends at 10 p.m. I will have a specialized menu for everyone with the champagne cocktails. That's really slick, really dope, tied to the concept behind the majority. I'll have some merchandise, which will be T-shirts, and a few buttons, and I'll have every issue framed on the, when you go to a jewelry store and they have like glass panels, so they'll be on top of those.
Okay,
just around for everyone
so that
to
the place kept the glass panels in.
Yeah, it's so dope in there. It's
cool.
super dope. It's really slick. But yeah, April 13th, 7:30 on the Arm Boutique. Fuck with me.
Sahara and Maryland Parkway for y'all that are in Vegas.
Oh, he just put it up. It's on Sahara and Maryland Parkway.
Yeah. Because I could see some cats Googling some wrong shit. Being like, I thought you said it was a pop-up gallery. And all of a sudden it's a pop-up robbery.
Shut up.
Let the people know where they can find you, where they can find the newsletters, just everything Cousin Oak.
Okay. The majority right now is linked to my Twitter and Facebook. I am building a website for that. And I'm going to do some unique marketing once I release it. And you can find me on Twitter at KOKOAKA. You can find me on Instagram at KOKOAKA. And you don't want to find me on Facebook. I'm not that cute on Facebook. I'm real ratchet on Facebook, so we're gonna leave that out of there.
That's the perfect reason to find you on Facebook.
I'm working on my Twitter personality.
Facebook or the Noize. That's where you can be the most ratchet if you like.
Definitely follow me on IG. Like, I'm hella cool on IG.
Okay. These are my favorite episodes to do when we bring people in that have so much information to share. Because it's almost like a day off for us.
Okay.
Yeah, this was definitely the Cousin Oak show. I give you full credit. You should have been sitting over here listening.
That's hilarious.
But it was a blast and it was an honor. And we appreciate you bringing us on the press run. I guess we got to do our stuff now. Kev, where can they find you?
Hollywood Kev _ on Instagram. Damn, what's the other one? Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Nope. Black Planet.
No, it ain't that.
What's your Black Planet name?
_ Hollywood Kev on Twitter. I forget because I just changed the Instagram one.
You did just change. That's
yeah.
right. Thought you were a troll for a little bit. At Big Los IG on Instagram. I'm trying to get better at it.
No, you're not.
I did. I posted.
I
posted a quote yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Posted a quote.
A quote. Yes.
You did post a quote yesterday.
Exactly. You gonna get on the show and lie like shit ain't.
I gotta go back and look, child.
Right. Who knows? It could be up there.
I
No, it's definitely up there. Big Los UTC on Twitter.
You definitely ain't getting better at that.
Nah, not at all. I can't
Twitter is hard. I don't even know what to talk about.
Twitter is so easy.
I'm like, because you
He
talk
lives
shit.
on Twitter.
That's
Twitter
why.
is easy.
I don't know how to sit on Twitter and talk shit. You
Well,
probably talk a lot of shit.
Actually, I don't.
Sit here and lie on this mic,
I
right?
don't.
Okay.
I don't talk a lot of shit
Okay.
on Twitter. Not anymore.
I'm the cover
anymore.
of this episode is going to be screenshots of your Twitter. It's going to be called Cousin Oak in the pop-up gallery. But it's going to be screenshots of your Twitter.
My Twitter's been cool lately.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook if you want. And, of course, at The Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. BeatNetworkOnline.com, where you can find all the shows, all the articles. We're going to be doing a lot more going forward. I'm finally getting done with the interviews that we did for Vice. It took some time.
Okay.
But, that's where there's working an 8-hour shift thing is really getting in the way of things. But other than that, we got a bunch of new things coming. Pretty sure Cousin Oak is going to be back sometime soon, especially when she drops the website.
For sure.
Again, I can't express my appreciation anymore. We are thankful that you decided to have us on this press run.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, definitely. We know the ear hustlers are going to appreciate this because they're all black assholes as ourselves.
Yeah.
As we are. So we definitely look forward to getting this episode out. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate your support. And as always, it's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
It's The Noize.